Hey everybody, MacDamaster here, back with Marvel Heroes, and we got 2.31 in Moon Knight's release. So I'm going to do his preview, and so he looks up like close up, and far away. He's got this little cape, does a little roll, and he's really pretty much nothing new. So gonna break tradition and go from left to right in this case. On the left side, we've pretty much got Gambit. And we got that little roll that I did, that's a combat maneuver. It gives you attack and movement speed of 10%. You put points in it, though, it doesn't go up, that 10%, just the duration of how long it lasts goes up. So that's kind of interesting, something to go with plus grants for, so you get a longer duration, perhaps. And you get a basic attack that gives you plus damage rating against bleeding targets. And he does have a couple moves that gives bleeds, so you would be able to exploit that. And he has a truncheon ricochet, which is basically like Captain America's shield throw or Daredevil's cane throw. It's the exact same thing, except it doesn't have a bleed on it, and it does have damage rating to the next melee power, so it kind of works more like Captain America's in that respect. Carbonadium armor. This is his basic passive. Works kind of like a mix of Punisher's ability, where the more damage you take and the less health you have, the more damage you ignore. And it gives you a basic block chance, and every time you block an attack, you do damage to the target that you're blocking. Thing to remember with these is, as you take damage, it doesn't start scaling with it. So, if you take 100% of your damage, your health and damage, you're going to die. You don't get like it doesn't start stacking through as you take the damage. You have to be at that level of health to resist that damage. Cystus Gauntlet Punch. This is going to be your basic boss burning attack. It looks kind of cool. Does physical damage, does a dot, causes a bleed. That's going to work with spiked gauntlets, obviously. And it deals extra damage to bosses. So that's pretty nice as well. And then Moonstaff. This is going to work just like Gambit's Staff Strike. Now Daredevil has that Staff Strike as well. It's nice, wide, sweeping arc, and this one actually restores spirit and it attacks a little bit faster, so that's interesting. And then staff sweep. This doesn't work like normal staff sweeps. This actually works like the spinning clubs or Ghost Rider's chain whirl there. It works just like that. You stand still and spin around. The longer you hold it, the more you spin, and you burn spirit per second. Even though it doesn't read that way, that's exactly what happens. Where you burn a lot of spirit, 1.7 times that spirit for the attack speed. Gruesome Frenzy is a signature. This is actually something that's new out of this hero, which is mostly a cut and paste hero based off of a lot of other abilities already out there. This is kind of nice. It's kind of based off of Nightcrawler's signature, where you can attack up to 15 times basically. 14 times within 7 seconds, and then he has a finishing part which gives you the 15th time, which does more damage. It does have a spirit cost, so you have to have a total of 30 spirit, and you can do it once every 30 seconds, but it does nice little physical damage. It has an execute base on it, so it does extra damage with the lesser hit points the target has, and then it has the finishing aspect as well, where it does more damage at the last strike. So it's actually a pretty cool little signature. I do like that. Again, it's really based off of Nightcrawlers. And Nunchuck Bulldoze, this is again based off of Gambit's All In. Works just like All In, except he's spinning his nunchucks around in front of him. The Crescent Crusader side. This is again based off of Gambit. You got Crescent Dart Throw, which is a basic ranged attack. It's throwing out darts, but this one puts a bleed on. Not a bad attack. doesn't quite have the DPS as the melee side, obviously because it's ranged. Explosive Crescent Dart. This is probably about the best Spirit Burner for ranged, at least DPS wise, because it blows up pretty nice, has a high rate of fire. You're going to burn a ton of spirit doing it, and it does do a very large explosion, so it does nice AoE. Crescent Snare. This is your basic throw out 3 range attacks that fan out and pull mobs to you. Ironically, it's in the range side, even though it's pulling things to you in melee range, so this is kind of more of a hybrid mood than anything. It also makes enemies deal less damage for 6 seconds. Glider Cape is in the range side as well. This probably should be over in Khonshu's Blessings, but you know, hey, no one didn't say that it wasn't rushed. A lot of people are saying this whole character has been pretty well rushed out. Crescent Fan, again based off of Gambit's what's it called? Royal Flush, kind of similar, and it has one of his passives worked into it already, so you do up to an extra 300% to far away targets of damage. But it does put a bleed on to the targets instead of exploding. It puts a bleed on, and instead of exploding, the farther away they are, they do more damage. And it does have a rate of fire, and it will burn a ton of spirit using that up. Tripwire Bolas. This works exactly like Ghost Rider's chain snare that he throws out. Same thing. Puts a nice little dot up. Not too bad. You can work that into a melee build as well for extra dot damage. And it immobilizes. Works just like that Ghost Rider ability. And finally, Crescent Launchers. Exactly like any of the other hold down and rapid fire shoot 'em up type skills. I forget Gambit's Stack the Deck, I think it is. I believe that's what it is. Just like Stack the Deck, hits the first target, does a lot of damage, burns a ton of spirit, but burns a lot less spirit than Explosive Crescent Dart, except it doesn't do AoE where Crescent Dart does, so this has technically more damage potential, but they kind of do the same damage single target. Now the area where it actually gets into some new skills, the only part where some thought was actually put in Khonshu's Blessings. And Fist of Khonshu is a passive. Actually not too much thought put in here. This is technically Punisher worked in, where you get some critical and brutal strike rating worked on a passive. Damage rating, +6 with melee powers against targets attacking you. So that's basically like a thing or anything else that's already been out there worked into it. But when you get a brutal strike, there's a cower, 50% chance to cower on a brutal strike for 1.5 seconds. Again, that's kind of a Punisher thing worked in. Now we have these gifts, they're called, and they're basically gifts from Khonshu. And you can tell this is rushed because this is a horrible gift right here, the Avatar of Vengeance. Ideally used if you got hit really hard and you have no way to get health. You could hit this, and what happens is you cannot be killed, which is pretty potent, and that will last for 8 seconds. Your health will be reduced to 1, and you cannot regenerate health. Once that 8 seconds is up, a set percentage of damage, like in this case at rank 1, it would be 3% of the damage you deal is returned to you as health when the gift expires, up to a maximum of 30% of your health. So, if you really think about it, that's pretty much terrible. You're going to be at 1 health when that expires, and you're going to be hoping and praying that you can get your health back up by the time it expires. You should have a med kit up, so if you're going to use it, you know, you're going to want that 25% health in spirit up. However, mind you, you can use that before the gift's up and not get anything out of that med kit and totally screw up. It's a very, very poorly worked skill. Completely terrible. While it's activated, you cannot get health. And then we got the Tools of Vengeance over here. And this gift works opposite end. This gift powers cost no spirit. Your spirit is reduced to 0 and cannot be regenerated. So while this gift is activated for 8 seconds, you have no spirit, and all your abilities cost no spirit. This is much more useful. You will not die from using this, at least. And while you will not regenerate spirit once it's deactivated, if you're using a spirit burning build, you can burn off all your spirit and then run out of spirit and pop this and still have 8 seconds more of spirit burning activity. And then you can always go back to your backup of maybe Moonstaff and use that as a way to rejuvenate your spirit once your whole passive has run out. Now, part of these gifts is if you're missing health, your crit rating goes up +1. In this case, it's much higher as you get levels, obviously, per 10% missing health. And your damage rating goes up +1 per 10% missing spirit. And critical damage rating per power is +3 per 10% missing health. So there's advantages for being missing health and advantages for missing spirit. I still would not go with that missing health for anything. Khonshu Unbound. This is technically the crowd control immunity. Gives you 1.5 seconds with a 15-second cooldown and a passive effect of +2 tenacity. Absolutely terrible. One of the worst in game, probably. 15 seconds is forever. Multiple personalities. This is a passive. It's an okay passive. It's supposed to be part of his character. His character is actually afflicted with multiple personalities, and it's really not worked in well at all. Another poorly designed aspect of the character where it doesn't even reflect into it. However, if you die, you regenerate to 40% maximum health when you're defeated with a 10-minute cooldown, so it gives you a return to life, just like Gambit. That's Mark Spector's Resilience. Stephen Grant's Fortune, +3 credits per drop, just like Luke Cage. And then Jack Lockley's Cunning, 10% increased chance to find special items. So instead of rarity like Gambit, you get special item find. And then finally, a Statue of Khonshu, which is a summon. And the summon duration is 10 seconds. It gives you bonus damage rating, much higher at higher levels. It restores 12 health and 1 spirit every time you hit. The statue health and defense is based on your health and defense. And the spirit cost is 30 and the cooldown is 40 seconds. It's pretty lackluster because 10 seconds is okay. So you can absolutely use it at the right time. Like say before you summon your copter. Probably the best time. The copter is his ultimate. Or maybe before you use your signature. Probably the ideal time is before you use the signature, because of that cooldown is just horrendous for such a minimal gift or summon. And that's it. And Khonshu is supposed to be part of his legacy as well, and it's kind of worked in. And then finally, the Mooncopter. This is pretty awesome. It does 60, it's phenomenal. It's like 30,000 damage twice a second for 20 seconds. And it slow slings now, which is new. It has a spirit cost of 30. I don't know why they make ultimate powers cost spirit. That's kind of ridiculous. So it's quite phenomenal. Quite a ton of damage. Pretty cool. It basically just rains a ton of bullets on the ground in an area. However, it doesn't follow you, so where you put it is where it's going to be. So you have to be kind of thinking about where you put it. And that's Moon Knight. Let's take a look at his starting stats. He has a high durability, although they no longer tell you what you get when you level. So that sucks. Oh, this unlocks. So I guess his fighting and durability doesn't go up, or it's just bugged. You do get some fighting. It goes up to amazing. And speed will go up to remarkable. Their energy doesn't go anywhere. Well, intellect goes up to remarkable at 51. I'm not sure if durability and strength are locked or if it's just bugged. Hard to say, it's a new character. But that's it. So, I hope it helps. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to everybody later.